The RMS Titanic, famously known as the unsinkable ship, was a British passenger liner that tragically sank on its maiden voyage. This iconic vessel has captured the world's imagination for over a century due to its grandeur, catastrophic sinking, and the stories of heroism and tragedy associated with it. Construction and design. The construction of the Titanic began in 1909 at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The ship was part of the White Star Line, a prominent British shipping company. The design and construction were overseen by the experienced naval architect Thomas Andrews. The Titanic was one of the largest and most luxurious ships of its time, boasting a length of 882 feet and a height of 175 feet. It had 9 decks, and its opulent interiors were adorned with grand staircases, ornate furniture, and state-of-the-art amenities. Maiden voyage. The Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage from Southampton, England, on April 10, 1912, with stops in Cherbourg, France, and Queenstown, now Cove, Ireland, before heading across the Atlantic to its final destination, New York City. On board were approximately 2,224 passengers and crew, including some of the wealthiest individuals of the time. Tragedy strikes. On the night of April 14, 1912, tragedy struck when the Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic, about 400 miles south of Newfoundland. The iceberg caused a series of holes along the ship's starboard side, leading to flooding in multiple compartments. Despite efforts to contain the damage, the ship was unable to stay afloat. Sinking of the Titanic. As the situation escalated, the crew began evacuating passengers onto lifeboats. The lack of sufficient lifeboats, combined with the belief that the Titanic was unsinkable, contributed to a catastrophic loss of life. Distress signals were sent out, and nearby ships, including the RMS Carpathia, responded to the Titanic's call for help. Despite the heroic efforts of the crew and passengers, the Titanic sank in the early hours of April 15, 1912. More than 1,500 people lost their lives in one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history. Investigations and inquiries. The sinking of the Titanic led to widespread shock and grief. In the aftermath, inquiries were conducted in both the United States and the United Kingdom to investigate the circumstances surrounding the disaster. The investigations revealed shortcomings in safety procedures, inadequate lifeboat capacity, and a lack of coordination in responding to the emergency. Legacy and impact. The sinking of the Titanic had a profound impact on maritime safety regulations. The disaster prompted the adoption of numerous safety measures, including the establishment of the International Ice Patrol to monitor iceberg danger in the North Atlantic. Additionally, there were advancements in navigation practices, wireless communication, and the design and construction of ships. The Titanic's legacy also lives on through various books, films, and documentaries that have explored the stories of those on board, the events leading up to the sinking and the lessons learned from the tragedy. The ship's wreckage, discovered in 1985 by Robert Ballard, continues to be a subject of fascination and study. The RMS Titanic, once celebrated for its grandeur and deemed unsinkable, met a tragic fate that shook the world. The sinking of this luxurious passenger liner remains one of the most enduring and haunting stories in maritime history. The lessons learned from the Titanic's demise have had a lasting impact on maritime safety practices, ensuring that the memory of those who perished on that fateful night will never be forgotten.